First, I want to say hello to everybody. Glad everybody made it on out. I mean, it's a whole lot of things we could be doing, but it's very important what we're doing right now. So the first thing I like to do is lead everybody in the pledge of the United States, and if everybody can stand up, do the pledge. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There we go. Next, we'd like to say, do we have any new members here tonight for the first time? Anybody for the first time? Yeah. No, she's not. Well, we have one guest, and we'll go ahead and we'll wait to go ahead and announce her later when she comes up to speak. Okay. First thing, we was talking about the welcome. Glad everybody's here. Start of a new era, and we're trying to go ahead and make the best of this and make a difference. Next, we want to have a moment of silence in memory of Councilman George Brandman. Okay, everybody. Next thing we have is the swearing in of the new officers. That's on the agenda. So we could go ahead and do this and conduct our business. Mike, Roxanne, Rebecca. This is your executive board for the next year, at least start right now. Wait, hold on.
If anyone can find her.
You just saw her. Go now and pass.
He's still a member, but he's Kenneth's the new president.
For you.
I think we have a new member, new guest.
Hello.
No, I think it's here. Oh, this? No, I think it's fine.
Yes, because that is our parliamentarian.
Officers elect, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that, number one, you will faithfully and diligently perform the duties of the office to which you have been elected? Number two, that you will uphold and abide by the bylaws of the California Democratic Party, the Democratic Party of Orange County, and the Anaheim Democrats Club, and that you will support the programs of the Anaheim Democrats Club as determined by the Executive Board, and will exert effort to the best of your ability to strengthen the influence of the Democratic Party in Anaheim. If so, please state, I do.
I do.
You may lower your hands if you are installed. Congratulations.
First thing, let me say this as new president. My thing was, as the vice president and the treasurer, that we grow our membership. To me, that's number one. We need to grow our membership. Where I have talked to people like Wes, and we've already decided that we need to have a membership recruitment committee to go ahead so we can booster our membership. One of the things I would like to do is if we could go ahead and have a parade and have a big event like they have for the cultural center. How much money do they raise on that? I saw on, we put the money in for us next year. I put the money down, saving the club $50. Because if we would have did it after October 1st, it would have cost the club $50. So I went ahead and put it down. But the point of it is this right here, is we get out there. If we're able to do it, then we're able to push our agenda on a lot of massive people while they are doing the celebration of things like something like democracy. And and we need to go ahead and push those things, working for the working man, the middle class, the people who's struggling, the masses, food insecurity. Those things are the things that we need to go ahead and attack as a Democratic club. We need to go ahead, special interests. You know what? If it wasn't for some of the people that's in this room and a few more, just think about what they would be trying to get away with. Yeah. Okay, so that's my vision. We'll go ahead and we'll talk. Anybody, I'm approachable. You can talk to me about anything at any time.
Do we have a boundary with
all Anaheim? And we go outside of Anaheim. Because some cities don't have a Democratic club. So you're welcome here. Yes. Okay. So here we go. Mike, it's your turn. He's going to bring up to get the approval of the last minutes of the meeting.
The last meeting, we had a report on the new website, and we briefly discussed Measure A. The announcements report was given on the charter school location in Anaheim. They asked for help fighting it. For information, the Anaheim Council voted against it. New members were Jesus and Bibi. Shirley Grindle and Jose Moreno talked about corruption in Anaheim. Our council is wined and dined by special interests. They said, we need an ethics commission and a ban on gifts, the same as the Orange County Board of Supervisors. Jose repeatedly that there's a sea of corruption. Anaheim City Council should be addressed among staff and city council members. And the Brown Act violations are ignored by the Anaheim attorney, which is important, as he is controlled by the majority. Are they having serial communications was one question that he had. City staff could report on criminal problems with immunity if they wanted to. And then we elected the Honorable Kenneth Batiste, President, Vern Nelson, Vice President, Rebecca Kovac-Stein, Roster Secretary, Roxanne Batiste, Treasurer, and Michael Robbins, Recording Secretary.
Move approval of the minutes.
Yes, we definitely have to do a shout out to Daisy. Right now, next is the treasurer report. We have the copies of things that's made out, circulated. We have the treasurer up to give a report.
Hello. Okay, our bank balance as of today is $992. Okay. $992.18 is per our sheet I passed around. That brought us up to date with the latest expenditures for the website. And that runs this sheet that I gave you ran from July 10th of 23 to today, August 5th, 2023. And I don't have anything else to report about the budget, so we can move along. Then I have to ask. Oh, move to, okay. Second. Okay.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Vern, we're gonna have Vern come up and talk about the OCCORD report.
We were hoping to have Marisol talk about, give a report on the 3 OCCORD events on corruption, based on the JL report that came out and the FBI investigations as well. I think a lot of us went to those. They were pretty successful, so especially the first one was a full house. You should have seen it, almost 100 people there down at Ponderosa. The second one was sparsely attended, but we had a councilwoman there, which was nice. And the third one was good. We had great speakers, Jose Moreno, Tom Tate, Janine Robbins, Cynthia Ward. And they came up with lots of good ideas, but we were always coming back to campaign finance reform. We'll never have a level playing field here, which is one thing we were trying for when we got district elections. But then the special interests started tripling their spending. And so once again, Disney and the allied special interests choose all our candidates, all generally the vast majority of them. So we still would like to pass Jose Moreno's original, what we called the Cleanup Anaheim Act. Most important part of which was a component of recusal. If you've got a certain amount of donations from somebody, you're not able to vote on an issue that affects them for a year. And so far, that's not controversial. But 90-something% of the money people get is from PACs and independent expenditures. We want the recusal law to apply to that too, which is a little more controversial because some people think that's unconstitutional and some of us don't. But I think we should try that. I'm trying to segue into my introduction to our special guest, Councilwoman Norma Kurtz. We appreciated her coming to the OCCORD Forum on corruption. She was the only councilwoman, the only council person to come. And we also, to tie the whole meeting together, we appreciate that she went to Cecilia's neighborhood, saw the site, talked to Cecilia, and voted in the interest of the neighborhood rather than the out-of-town big business with the lobbyist. And so here's Norma Kurtz. I believe that her main concerns that she'd like to talk about are affordable housing and what's the other one? Senior services. But we'll probably have a lot of other questions to ask her as well. So let's welcome Norma Kurtz.
Thank you for the invitation. And I've been on council for just a few months, since February the 7th. As you all know, appointed, not elected. And one of the things that caused me to apply was the lack of services for our seniors in Anaheim. I had previously worked for 2 legislators, so I was aware of cities like Winter Park, Santa Ana, Garden Grove, who had phenomenal senior centers. Winter Park is the envy of the county. Garden Grove is a huge one. Santa Ana, a city that has much less money than Anaheim does, had like 3 standalone senior centers, fully staffed. And so my thought in applying for the position was that I could raise the flag for our seniors. In Anaheim, we had 1 full-time and 1 part-time staff for the entire 50 square miles to serve our seniors. I thought that was unconscionable. That's why I applied. Just raise awareness of that, and that was going to be my mission. It's the only thing I thought I was going to get kind of involved in. My dream, my goal is that we'll have, actually, when I walked in, I thought my dream was one additional standalone senior center, or one standalone senior center. But now as I look at the miles across the city, I think that excluding the hills, because they have a senior center, it's not a standalone, but it seems to be somewhat sufficient for their needs. I think we need two in Santa Ana, or two in Anaheim. I've even talked to our fire department, who's asking for some more stations. And where's Vern? Station 12. Oh, that's Mark's thing. Yeah, Station 12. It's going to become my thing very quickly. The fire department's even saying, why not do one huge building, part of it senior center, the other part fire station? And I laughed and said, because you're thinking of all the cookies that seniors are going to make. And he says, no, we do barbecues, we'll invite them too. But as I'm talking about it, more people than not want some standalone senior centers in Anaheim. I worked for the two legislators, and I learned about policy and that. I had never worked on budget. And so when the budget rolled around just a few months after I was sworn into office, I was taken aback about the process and how you get what you need. But one thing I did learn, that because I started talking about seniors and resources to seniors and what our seniors need, and at the very least, we need staff in every one of our community centers full-time that are devoted 100% of their time to providing senior services. So with that, the department head of community services also started talking to the city manager, because she always thought that's what was needed, but never had the support behind her. So I started talking to the city manager, and you all know I can't talk to more than two other council members. But I understand how that works, and I understand that what I want to do, or what I wanted to do, was get support from a couple of city council members who would not be afraid to take that vote, and who really need additional senior services in their districts. So that I knew walking in that at least three of us had strong support for that budget item. Anyway, I got, and I actually didn't have to ask for the funds. The community services department asked for funds to add 9 additional staff members that would be 100% devoted to providing services to our seniors throughout the city. We're going to have them at Brookhurst, Ponderosa, Mira Loma, downtown, and then east. And every one of those centers will have 1 full-time and 1 part-time, plus the person who did it all by herself for 10 years would supervise that. The other thing I have talked about with the department head is that those people assigned to that center should not take their orders from City Hall. They need to respond to that area. Each of our areas is very different. Miraloma, quite different from downtown. Ponderosa, quite different from Brookhurst. And even within those centers, we've got different populations and different needs, but at least it's a start. And I've told seniors, as I've talked, this is only the start for providing services to our seniors. I am already thinking about how can we move forward. If any of you have ideas, please email me. I am working, as an example, one area told me, well, you know, our seniors don't join us. And so, well, can they get here? And did you know that that population, particularly our Latino older population, they're taking care of grandkids at home. So how are they going to pick up grandkids and come to the senior center? Maybe we should provide something for the kids to do so that grandma can come and spend an hour, 2 hours playing with the grandkids are taken care of. So I've asked that they take a look at what is provided in each of the centers and make it unique to that area. So that's a start. They are hiring and are trying to hire folks that really know that population. The other question is, can our seniors get to medical care? And I've been told, well, no, we provide you. They can call and for $2 and get a ride. How many seniors know that? Well, it's on our website. How many seniors are looking at the website? How many seniors have computers? How many seniors, they may have a phone, but they're not fooling around on that phone. Boy, the younger folks are doing. So I'm asking those questions because our services for seniors have to look very different than the services we provide to a younger population. So my goal is 2 centers standalone with full-on staff, but in addition, keeping the staff at the local levels of the local community centers or resource centers. So it's been fun working on that, and I continue to do that. You know, when I applied, this was going to be my big thing. This is what I'm going to work on. I have learned that there's so many other things going on. We need more fire stations. We actually need 2 more. We need 2 more. Stadium, and which would be Station 12, and we need a Station 13, which is located someplace around the Laura area, because calls, I've learned, come from District 4 or District 2, take more time to get there, and when a District 4 truck is over in that area, my District 4 residents are getting a slower response. So 2 stations, my goal. The other really important thing is housing. And I know you all know that. And I don't have answers to a lot of things. It is not an area that I personally worked on when I worked for the legislators, but I've learned a lot. For those of you that know a little bit about me, I'm in the neighborhoods. I am meeting with folks. I made a commitment. I made a commitment not only to myself, made a commitment to my husband because he kind of holds me accountable. But I made a commitment to the 2 staff members that with me serve District 4. I refuse to call them, my wife used to call them my staff aides because they're not my staff aides. They're District 4 staffers. And I made a commitment to them. I said, if anybody that asks for a meeting with me, we never say no. we may have to delay because of schedules and so forth, but I will never, ever say no. But because of that, I've met with folks that I had never met before. I've been in neighborhoods that I drove by, but I never really wanted to stop at. And I've learned so much from the residents in those areas. So I started questioning what we're doing with housing. Some council meetings ago, the subject of discretionary housing came up, and they wanted a report on that. And I was so frustrated because what about a report on all other aspects of housing? What do other cities across the nation use? How does it work? So you've got a new council here. You know, 5 of us are brand new to the council. So we don't know as much about housing. And they said, well, we've given those kind of reports before. And I said, but 5 of us weren't here. And one of the things that has caught my interest is a housing trust in Anaheim. Anaheim Housing Trust. The county has one. Started by money from Disney, $5 million. Disney didn't bat an eyelash in giving it to them. Now, $5 million is insignificant to them. But I really am growing more and more convinced that Anaheim can have its own housing trust. And what would that housing trust do? It would work much as the old redevelopment agency worked, where when we had a redevelopment agency, our housing department, and I understand you're gonna have Grace Scepter here next month, and she can talk more about what she was able to do when she had the monies from redevelopment agency. But she was able to put together those packages that allowed a developer like a Jamboree Housing to come in and build affordable housing units. Or even another developer, she'd be able to provide that gap financing that would allow 25% affordable low-income housing for the larger developments. She was able to provide the first-time home buyers down payment assistance. But she was able to do a lot of things that she can no longer do. And that housing trust would allow Anaheim to do that without having to go to the county to see how much money they have left, without having to ask permission of anybody else. Anaheim can do that. There's a lot of money that's needed. In fact, I recently heard an amount of 60 million to do everything we wanted. Take about 60 million. And that 60 million investment would grow and so forth. So will we get 60 million right away? Probably not, but I think we can get a significant amount. I think you can put 2 and 2 together. I'm not gonna say where I expect a lot of the money, but we've got projects coming up in the city that are going to impact our communities. And I have personally spoken to some of the businesses in our resort area, because sitting in the middle of District 4 is a resort district. Spoken to them. They know and accept the fact that housing, affordable housing, is a critical component to them getting employees to work in the resort area. They absolutely know that and are very willing to work with the city, a public-private partnership to fund a housing, something like a housing trust. So I know that if we put our mind to it at the city, working with some of our businesses, that we can establish a housing trust. And that again, I'm growing to really like that idea more and more. I'm willing to explore all the other things that come up when people talk about housing. I don't have my mind set yes or no on anything right now. I was telling Mike earlier, for those that know me, I'm one that I like to get a lot of information, kind of digest it, then start asking questions. That causes some more thinking. And I like to go, somebody once taught me that with a piece of legislation, there's always a winner and a loser. So you have proponents that want something. Who's fighting it and why? Not that you're going to agree with them or not, but you need to understand that to be able to address that. And so I like to do that. I will ask developers 3 questions. Well, I think it's 3 questions. 1, how will it impact the city? What are you bringing to the city? 2, have you talked to labor? And 3, what's the impact to our residents? And I've told them and know that I will check your answers on all 3 levels. Because I won't just accept the fact that, oh yeah, we've talked to all these people. I will check that because I need to understand all the impacts before I make a decision. So I'm more focused. I'm more clearly focused on the senior stuff, housing stuff. I'm really liking the idea of an Anaheim Housing Trust. Let's get out of the Orange County Housing Trust, our own, and let's see how we can fund it, the initial funding on it. Because once you fund it, the money just kind of revolves. Because as you put money out, people are starting to pay money in. And so you don't need that huge impact right away or over and over. You do need a continuous funding for it. I've even talked to some of our hotels and asked if they're interested in talking to us about some type of fee. I won't call it a tax. I won't call it anything a gate tax. So just no taxes from Norma. Not a fee, an assessment. You know, the resort district assesses itself already to keep their lights and trees and the beauty of the district. So they didn't say no. And again, are they doing it because they're all wonderful, kind people? They're doing it because they need employees. And it's difficult for them to find employees who want to work. Even if they start working here, as soon as they find a job closer to home, they leave. So we're all in it for something. But we have people interested. And I'm hoping that I can move that one. There's a few other things that have interested me in the city now that I'm there. I'm not just interested in me, but have to get involved in. So my focus just on seniors the way I wanted to be is not quite working out. So have broadened things out. But I'm there. I'm hoping that I'll make a difference. I'm hoping that I can do some small things that will improve the quality of life of our residents, especially our seniors and those folks living in the neighborhoods that need so much work done, and their quality of life absolutely needs to be improved. So with that, I open it to questions. Yes, ma'am.
Well, two of the issues that you're addressing when it comes to seniors and housing is an extraordinarily huge problem here in Anaheim that just keeps getting overlooked.
we get somebody that works with us for a little while and then, we're just kind of dropped. I'm talking about the mobile home communities here in the city. There are lots of them. They're almost all senior. I'm with Rental Plaza, the place that took John Saunders to task, and we got a 10-year, just for our park alone, a 10-year reprieve on, he can't raise us any more than 5%. But on a daily basis in our park, there's 1,000 seniors in there. And of this 1,000 seniors, we're seeing the people when they die, their properties are picked up back by the park, and then he takes them out, puts in a new one, and now he's bringing families in or younger people in. And again, there's no longer that safety factor there. And then also, the city could pick those up and don't have to build anything. They're not having to put out any money. They actually could make available senior housing in all of the mobile home parks right now that's already there, if the city decided they wanted to do something in that aspect. And I would like to meet with you because I've got some ideas. Okay.
I didn't bring anything, any cards, but my contact information is on the website. Please send me an email with your contact information. I'm happy to talk to you. I have never thought about that. I don't know, and that's something like the Housing Trust could do. Pardon? Yeah. Yes, sir.
You support an inclusionary housing ordinance to require developers to provide a 20% set aside for low-income housing. That would seem to be a solution that we've had the trust for years. It hasn't been yet.
No, the Orange County Housing Trust hasn't made much of a dent, but it's a small one. I think Anaheim could do much better, but we'd have more control and can charge the department for moving that money quickly. Inclusionary housing, I just don't know what the percent would be. That is one of the things that I'm asking a lot of questions about. Irvine is 20?
Yeah.
What, does anybody know what Santa Ana has? Wow. I had a developer come the other day and say, well, we're gonna have 5%.
Yeah.
What the heck? 2 units. I'm exaggerating. I'm exaggerating because it was 9 units. But yeah, that is one thing I can clearly say. I'm not opposed to at all. My exploration is what percent would work. Because there's a limit, and interestingly enough, when I've talked to BIA, the Building Industry Association, they're not opposed to it. No. So it's why people are, I don't know. When the building industry itself is not opposed. So,
Back in 2005-ish, Kurt Pringle was the mayor at the time. Lori Galloway was on the council, and there was a project to build a housing development across from where the garden walk is. And Galloway was kind of pushing it. Everybody else was, but Disney was against it, of course. So how does anything fly in the resort area if Disney doesn't give its blessing? See, that's the problem. And you talk about the employees wanting. SOAR wasn't even. Yeah, it kind of came out of that, but it wasn't. It didn't exist yet.
I don't know whether it's an ordinance or what it is, but no housing, affordable, market value, anything can go in within the bounds of the resort area. Because I question that there's a development that wants to come in and you may have heard about it, on Catella in Manchester. They want to do hotels and homes for sale. But they're having problems because of the number of homes for sale they want to put in. They can't, because no housing in the resort area. I didn't know that until a couple months ago. But so yeah, that is a problem. But there's a lot of other areas just outside we can do it in. Well, it's whether Disney gives its blessing or not within the boundaries of the resort area. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I used to work for housing all the time. So I used to work for housing many years ago. And we started a program, and I know there's not enough money going around that can help seniors, but we started a program where we started teaming up seniors together to room together and live together. When I was doing my walk, trying to get people involved with the school, I found a lot of seniors living alone in a huge house who welcomed me to the house. And I mean, I would sit there with them and drink coffee because they were lonely. And they owned their house, their kids lived far away. And I asked them, would you be willing to have somebody move in here with me? Another man, if there was a woman, I would, another woman, another man, I would,
I have not
But
heard that.
we started a program and it went really well. I left and we started, I was pulled out of housing to start a new program, code enforcement. They liked the way I was dealing with the community. But we started, and it went really well. I don't know if they still have it or not. It was in Santa Ana. And we started a partnership program, and we started at the senior center, and it went from one senior center to another, where we started getting seniors together. We would have coffee. And where I live, there's a lot of seniors who live alone, have a house, or some of them own homes, and they just don't have enough money to pay for the rent, and they'd be willing. Because what's happened in the next 5 years, seniors, especially women, will be one of the largest homeless populations. And that, that's sad. And if we could start, I mean, because I know there's only so much money that can help everybody. But this way we can get 2 or 3 people living together and, let them help with each other. That would be.
Coincidentally, I have a meeting scheduled with Grace Scepter next week, and the subject is senior resource. I will bring that up. I don't know if they've ever thought of it. I've never heard about that, but that would be great.
The gal who started it, now she works, they left the house. It was myself and her and some other people who were setting it up. Then they pulled me out to work in another department. They pulled her out. So I don't know if it's still going or not.
It's certainly something to explore.
And then we also had, I don't know if they still have it, the mobile home voucher. We started a senior mobile home where we were helping seniors who were living in mobile pay for their.
Yeah, I know that's kind of being explored, but that's why I want the housing trust, because it's able to do all of that.
That's when I started.
Yes, ma'am.
As a homeless advocate, let me say that the #1 way to stop homelessness is to prevent it from the beginning. So as far as Disney and their housing restriction in their area, this might be the perfect time for the city to somehow change that, considering that they want approval on their Disneyland Forward plan. I mean, they're gonna have 1,000 new workers, and that's not even considering the entertainment area that they're planning on building over there across from the convention center. Where do they expect the people to live? So a workforce housing complex on the corner of Manchester and Catella sounds like a perfect idea for me.
I mean, those people need someplace to live.
Yeah, Janine, and we were just meeting with some Disney people and they said, oh, we have a big section on housing here. I go, so how much are you building? We're not building anything.
Yeah.
And with those jobs coming in, that's why that whole resort area is so willing right now to talk about some type of
Funding for the
housing
authority,
trust.
however, the city to be willing to put it in an area that's closest to the resort area so that the workers can commute. There's public transportation, you know, they need to be willing to do that.
That corner of Manchester and Catala is now privately owned.
But there's the corner of Ball and Air Boulevard.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
there's an RFP out, well, if it hasn't gone out, it's going out very soon.
Because the hoteliers talked about purchasing that.
It's,
Contributing to that, not for hotels, for houses.
yeah, actually, I'm sure most of you know Paul Sanford.
Yeah.
He is a great proponent of housing for hotel employees, affordable housing. And he is one that I think can convince some others to jump on that bandwagon. But
Yeah, he told me he's getting involved with the corner of Ball and Anaheim.
because they gave up some ATM property, but it is under the Surplus Land Act right now, and an RFP is going out. I've learned a lot about those too. I have learned a lot about those. For future sales, I'll leave it at that.
I'm gonna sort of slightly change the subject, senior transportation. You know, there's voucher programs in Fullerton and Cypress and even Via Park and Garden Grove, which provide, because these cities don't necessarily want to create buses or vans, but the taxis will, for a reduced rate, you know, the city. And these programs are not based on the city funding. It's based on state and federal funding. And, you know, that this money is available. But Anaheim, you mentioned that you can get a $2 ride to the doctors or something, but I don't, you know, who does that, but there's funding there and, you know, it's a very great need for some seniors who don't have the ability to either to still drive or to have a car.
Yes, sir. Totally agree, and that's one of the things I'm pushing for. The other thing is, Mike, you know, when they say, well, we can get them to a doctor. Well, you know what? Seniors need more outings than going to a doctor. They need to be able to go and enjoy life too, not just the doctor or the supermarket. So looking for transportation to other venues too. But yeah, voucher program is what we need. Something that'll get seniors moving out of their homes.
I'll take a turn. We're all very interested in campaign finance reform, and we wonder how strong of campaign finance reform you would support if you studied Jose's original proposal, and if you support it. Recusal law and all.
To be honest, I haven't studied his proposal. I do know there's a law that just became effective this year, a state law that limits contributions of over $250 if we're going to vote on their issue 12 months. I'll tell you, it's severely limited fundraising. But that evens it out a little bit, I think. I have not read Dr. Moreno's proposal. I'll have to do that. And I also am concerned about what we can do with IEs or PACs. I really don't know. I think the city needs to take a look at what it can do to make it a level playing field. I am not independently wealthy. I couldn't give myself more than $100, where others could almost independently finance their own campaigns. So if I'm going to run, and I've said I am, I need to raise money, unfortunately. And when I work for the legislators,
Small donations from all the people that like
No. All three people.
At least 30.
When I worked for the legislators that I did, I worked for Joe Dunn and Tom Daly, two very different people. I never, ever got involved in their fundraising. I hate fundraising. I hate picking up a phone and asking for money. I really do. The other thing I hate is getting my picture taken. So when if you see any posting on social media, it's generally about something. It's not about me smiling there with somebody else. I hate it. I love being in the background. But campaign finance reform, we need to even the playing field. We need to make sure that what we're doing is absolutely 100% legal and ethical. And
Our city attorney, Rob Favela, said that it was defensible.
did he?
Yeah, he did. He told it, said it right in front of everybody. It was
Okay.
that this should be constitutional because it does not prevent people from spending their money as much as they want. It just makes it a dumb idea. They can't vote their way.
Elimination plan, paid in blood.
There's one thing. I will not ask Disney for money. If they sent me a check, I would take it. I have to be very careful because we're voting on their issue. So I don't expect a lot. Somebody else, a resident that I met with early on said, if you take Disney money, I'll never talk to you again. And I said, you know, I don't want this to be our last conversation. I will accept money within the limits of the law. But no one, and I, for people who know me, and she knows, I will not turn down a meeting from any resident or organization that serves the residents of District 4. That's who I am. I think with the new law, it's going to be, the players have to play much different. What I'm afraid of, actually, is that they will form IEs and we will have no control over it. We won't have, a candidate has no control over what they say, what they mail, what they do. It's theirs. In fact, they cannot communicate at all with the candidate or the campaign of the candidate. And so, well, that's the law. That's what I would follow. Yeah, I suppose so. Not in my book. Not in my book. No. I will listen to them, to Disney. And you'll find me going to places on Disney Forward. I want to learn everything they're saying. I want to know what they're saying to this neighborhood versus this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. So you're going to see me, and you'll see me and think, wow, she's all over the place with Disney. Well, that's because I want to listen to what are they telling the people that live on Walnut versus what are they telling the people that live near Boysen Park. So.
Hi, Councilmember. Sorry, I'm monitoring and running our Zoom, so making sure our folks that are joining us online are included. Are you open to agendizing campaign finance ordinance proposed by former Councilmember Moreno and Councilmember Faisal as a means to discuss and explore it?
I don't know, because I have to take a look at it. It's going to be an agenda item, and I don't know when it's coming up.
November, right?
I don't know. I apologize. It's coming up in the next November. But I will have a lot of questions. And if you all have any questions that you want me to open up, start discussion on, let me know. Let me know. I'm happy to do that. I met with OCCORD and they raised the question of an ethics commission. I had never thought of one because the report alluded to an ethics officer or ombudsman. OCCORD said, have you thought about ethics commission? I had not. So when it came up at council, I said, we need to explore that. That is, staff, you're charged with going back and checking on an ombudsman or ethics officer, include ethics commission. And so I'm willing to ask those questions for not because I necessarily support them or oppose them. I want the questions asked so that everybody gets that information. And I want them in open session. I don't like ad hoc committees or unless they're going to be open to the public. Yes, sir.
Okay, I have three questions for you. One is short, one is pretty short, and one is longer. The first one is I'm trying to sort of place you in the arrangement of council members that I've known over the past 10 years that I've been involved in Anaheim politics. And you give a very progressive speech, very humanistic speech, so that's why I'm asking you this. I'm comparing you to one other council person in general. Would you agree that it is not good for the police to shoot a suspect without, because it saves us the cost of a trial? Right. Okay, that was Lucille Kring. So you're better than Lucille Kring. That's a low bar, but we'll go for it. Okay. Second, I'm interested. You know that many of us over the years have been critical towards various members of the council, and I want to know from you before I say anything else. Why do you think that is? And let's leave aside the possibility of character defects. Why do you think we're upset about it?
Partly, I think, because your questions don't get answered. Not even answered, but they don't get addressed. Nobody seems to care about what you're asking about. I would think that. I know I was laughing with Councilmember, two other, Jose Diaz and Councilmember Carlos Leon just this afternoon. They're on their way to their neighborhood community meeting. Districts 1 and 2 have it together. And I was telling them that I have worked in this area in Anaheim for the 2 legislators and attended the meetings for at least 7 years while working for Tom Daly. And I attended meetings in districts 3, 4, and 5 because he represented those areas. And never once did I see a council member there. Never once did I see my own council member at any of those meetings. And I'll be damned if I'm not at those meetings. I'll have to be really ill not to be there. And so maybe it's because council members weren't part of the community. Because I didn't see them too often in the community, at least in my district. But one of the things that I don't like is that when people write off the concerns or questions of someone because of who they are. Well, there's Janine. Janine again. You know? Or there's Cecilia, we know what her issue is. Everybody's voice counts. May not always agree. And I'm telling you here, I may, and very likely, not agree with you a lot of the time. But everybody deserves to be heard and heard with respect. So, your third question.
Okay. I got to figure out how many more questions. Let's make it not as long as you threatened. And see it. You did one.
My answer to the question of why people have been so upset at the council, and I'm going to leave aside provision of services, is that one, we've been concerned about corruption, and two, we're concerned about bankruptcy, about bankrupting the city. And with that in mind, you know that there was a proposal, I don't know if there will be again, about giving the parking structure over to Disney. Disney seemed to be amenable to that. And giving them control over the flow of money. That has been the repeated theme of the council for the 10 years that I've been watching. And I want to know, I know that you are somebody on good terms with Disney, and I don't want to hold that against you, but the city seems to be in danger because money that should be going into the general fund is instead used. It's used by people to try to curry favor with Disney and with the Angels primarily. And the stadium deal was the worst example of that. So that's why I think we're upset. And I don't need for you to say a lot about that, but I would like to get some sense.
You deserve to be upset. Primarily because while you brought up those issues, they seem to have been ignored. I don't think you have a council today, and I'm talking in general, council as a whole, that will ignore those things. I want Disney to succeed. I want it to grow. I want it to pay a lot more fees and taxes and all of that, because I want my 2 senior centers, no gate tax. Did I hear the word tax? No gate tax. Assessment fee. I have heard yes and no. It's not anything I have done research on. But they bring an awful lot of money. And I want those 2 senior centers, and I want affordable housing. That's terrible. I want them. That's not good. Yeah. I don't think Disney will have carte blanche with this council. I think we asked too many questions. And I'm serious. I don't think they'll have carte blanche. Somebody commented to me today that in the past, staff would have gotten a call and said, meet with them, see what they want. That's not happening today. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to get away, but I'll tell you, community benefits on Disney Forward is going to be a lot different than what community benefits looked like 10 years ago with their last master plan. Yes, indeed.
Mark Herbert.
2 senior centers.
Station 12.
Station 12, the contract has been awarded and budgeted. And Councilmember Diaz told me at the Disney presentation over at Brookhurst, the problem isn't over noise, which is what we've been told publicly. He said it has something to do with property rights, but he couldn't get into it. I said, I don't want private information, but it's hard to have a discussion when we don't have the facts you're using to make the decision. So I would say focus on Fire Station 12, which has already been budgeted. Hence, it shouldn't be a problem, but does raise the question, where is that money now? And 2, forget the second fire station. You can't even get the one budgeted and designed. Okay, that's one. I'll be quicker. The Planning Commission, as I experienced it with Cecilia, is broken. And when Ted White pulled me aside at the end of the council meeting last time and assured me it wasn't broken, and then we discussed the Disney plan coming forward in the 17,000 page environmental report. And I can't get a timeline when that's going to come before the Planning Commission and the council. I heard one from the Disney presentator and one from Ted White, and they didn't match. So that's all right, it's complicated. But I suggested to Mr. White that he says, rest assured, we've been engaged with this the previous year. And that's a problem to me because what I saw on the Cove Church project is they were involved early on too. And when the public examined the staff report, it was sadly lacking. And I asked Mr. White, do they have the resources to go toe to toe with Disney? And he says, that's when he assured me they've been working with them the past year. And I would like to see a more adversarial relationship, particularly when Disney, times have changed with Disney and they're depending on their amusement parks worldwide. So the city should be from representing the residents' concerns from a position of strength, not counting. Things change. I guess those are my more comments, but and I'm a little skeptical about the budget. When every labor contract, we were told, comes up the next 3 years in Anaheim, 2 have been settled, and not once have they been discussed publicly from the dais. I had to go to the website. And the rule of thumb going forward, presented at one of the budget meetings, was for each 1% raise for, say, all the city workers, that translates to 1.6 million budget. And in the 5-year budget recently approved, there's been no money set aside for the increase in the labor contracts coming due. Where's that coming from? There's no money set aside for the last 3 years to deal with homelessness, which is funded at 16 million of each of the first 2 years. So you have budget problems, but again, with this, I'll finish with this, the parking structure, Disney being paid off. I get the feeling the resort district plans to keep that within their boundaries. That needs to address some of the city's issues, and it needs a council to not have a private public partnership with Disney, but a more adversarial, representing the community, because oftentimes the community's interests don't coincide with the Angels, Disney, or heaven forbid, the OCCORD. Sorry.
You should make Mark your budget commissioner.
But just for you.
One more question after this is going to be from Zoom.
I don't have information for myself on the parking structure. I will start asking those questions. Thank you for reminding me that those questions are there and need to be answered. When I talk about public-private partnerships, I don't mean Disney public partnership. It's got to be a resort area. Because there's some hoteliers that don't agree all the time with Disney, and we need to give them their voice. And these hoteliers are the ones that are more concerned about housing than Disney may be. At least they haven't vocalized their concern to me. And trust that myself, and I'm thinking at least a couple more of the council members, while we want Disney to succeed, no question in my mind, I want them to succeed. I want every restaurant to succeed. I want every hotel room built, not at the expense of our residents. It can't be done. And I will, and I've told that to Disney. I haven't told that to the Angels. I haven't met any from anybody. I don't know anybody at the Angels. So they've not wanted to talk to me. But I've told the others that never at the expense at the residents. The project that's going to go in to Catala and Manchester, there's 2 mobile home parks there. And I've asked the developer, 200 families live there. I want to know where each one of those 200 families are going to go before you start building, before I vote yes on the project. Because you don't build at the expense of our residents. So.
One more question from Dr. Moreno on Zoom.
Are you willing to agendize a public presentation at council by JL Group of their investigation, or make a motion to remove gag order and allow JL Group to be part of public community presentation of their report?
I don't know. What would be the purpose of doing that? Removing the gag order, I know, it would allow them to speak in public without the attorney-client privilege or anything like that. So what would be the purpose of them?
Better communication with public. Very important.
Okay. We sure did. We sure did. Yeah. I would consider that. I would think it would come after we've looked at the issues that they raised and then hear from them. Makes sense. I would really like to consider that.
Thanks a lot, Councilmember Norma. We hope you can stay around, and we're going to be celebrating pretty soon Cecilia's victory. And
on Cecilia's victory. It was never against, and I've been accused about voting against a charter school. Never against a charter school. It's quality of life of the residents there and the safety of the children and parents that are dropping off and picking up at that location. And that's what needs to be considered, not the fact.
Yeah, and that's what basically we were all saying, not that it's a charter school, it's the location.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The microphone of the people in this room. We're not addressing the council per se. We're addressing the people that are watching. And it's you know, maybe we'll.
And when I ask, sometimes when I ask questions out there, I'm addressing not my fellow council members or staff. I'm addressing so that people are aware that that's an issue. $1 million, my feeling, $1 million contract should not be on consent.
Yes.
It's $1 million.
Yeah. But there's also, we'll get a gut shot in on like the Perry Sadu, and he was Perry, get up there and take a swipe at him. Now it's Natalie.
well, thanks, Norma. Are you going to be able to stay around?
No, I started my day at 8 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
I'm tired.
Well, thanks for coming. Let's keep the dialogue going.
Yes, please, please.
I want to do this number 5 thing here because
Take them to
this young man's been waiting patiently.
somebody make the point.
This young man is Jesus. He works for Sharon Quirksilva, and Sharon needs signatures for those of you who are in her district. Signatures in lieu, so she can rather than to get for her reelection. And you brought the forms for that. Did you also bring flyers for Sharon's event that's coming up later this week? Oh, good. So who knows who's in Sharon's district? Yes. Okay, Mark will sign it. Who else is in that district? Ed there? I believe Rebecca's in Sharon's district.
Yeah.
Not, you guys aren't? You should find out.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sharon Quirksilva wants to do an event for us like she did for North OC Democrats. Kenneth knows that was a great event. There was a fundraiser at her home. And we have a choice between Saturday, November 18th, or Sunday, November 19th. And some people think it's too close to Thanksgiving, but it's really, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving. I don't think that's, but that's, well, some people might have. So should we vote on, I mean, we get a choice between November 18th, November 19th. Who would rather do on a Saturday, the 18th? A fundraiser, Thanksgiving is Thursday. We're talking about the Saturday and Sunday before that. It's almost a week before. So who would rather do the Saturday? Who would rather do the Sunday? Saturday.
I'm sorry, what was the event?
It's going to be a fundraiser for this club at Sharon Corksilver's house.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'd rather do it a day before, since there's a concern about people leaving for Thanksgiving. The day sooner, less people will have left. So Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. I don't know why people will leave so early. Okay, so I'll tell her Saturday. We can do something else. We can do a holiday thing and.
Okay, by a show of hands, how many people say Saturday? Okay, how many people say Sunday? Okay, Saturday wins.
Okay, you want to do the Black History Parade?
Okay. But I wanted to say first thing about the website is up. I want to say thank you to Vern, and we could do the new memberships for people who are prorated for the rest of the year.
No, it's Fred and Yeti. Oh, thanks.
Fred,
We're
Fred
finally
and
getting
Yeti.
our website together after so much trouble. And
The next, was talking about February 3rd.
yeah,
For the Black History Parade. We were in it last year. I think it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I went ahead and put the deposit down because if we do it before October 1st, we save $50. It would be $100. It would be $150 after that. So we put the $100 down for us to be in the parade. Also, the booth was $175. And if we would have paid it before the first, we would save $25. And if we pay it before the next month on the first, we save $15. So because it was only $10, we decided that we would bring it to the club to let the club decide on whether they wanted to get a boot or not.
so how much is it right now for the booth?
Right now for the boot, it would be $160.
I knew that we do that.
How did the booth work last year? How did it do? Did we get any new members?
Got a couple of new members, but they were stuck like way in a corner by the Wells Fargo Bank. We're getting there early. We're going to be right in the thick of things.
Because that was right. Because we got in at the end, we were at the end. Yes, they are. And they're assigned per when people come in to leaving their deposit and paying their fee. That's what put us out, because I think our number was like 119. Okay, so so that left us right there. But the thing about it is still we can start to get some of the contacts of the people for that parade if we want to do our own parade and our own celebration. We can start to go ahead and put it on out. And that could be our fundraiser once a year that could go ahead and put thousands of dollars in our bank account. So it's something to consider, something to look into, because if that's the case, and we got to make sure as a 501 that we don't go across any lines. So, we have to be careful how we navigate to make sure that we go ahead but we are a political organization and how we navigate our way through it.
So I moved to spend 160 to be happy.
You mentioned 100 and 160.
100 he already paid for the parade. 160 he was paying to have a booth.
Okay,
You donate the booth.
Huh?
I'll donate the booth.
Lupe says she will donate the booth. Can we get a hand? Now, let me say this right here. We get in this booth. We need to get our brochures together this year. We need to pass out what our ideas, our foundation, what we stand for, what we are marching for, and what we're trying to do. When we put out those brochures, is to get more participation at the council meetings, get more people involved. We have to let people know. It was one guy I talked to, and he said, I don't do that political stuff. I said, that's why they get away with it, because you don't pay attention. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. So we're going to go at that, and we're going to take it from there. So at this point, we also will move on to the next one. What is this? Vern, what's that for the 21st?
Yeah. Okay, as far as the membership, I wrote that new memberships, as I discovered, like we're looking at our website, they're supposed to be prorated at this point of the year. So anyone who wants to be a member now, who hasn't been a member before, can be a member for $10. It's like a sale. It's a fire sale. Who wants to be a new member? Oh, okay. We got a new. What's your name, sir? Joe. Okay, I know you from the church. Where did Catherine go?
I'll tell
Kathleen.
you what, it's such a sale, I'll pay us $10.
Anyway, the DPOC is having their big convention at the Anaheim Hilton on October 21st. It's an all-day thing Saturday, and we have a table there, but it costs $120 to go. So if you want more details on that, we'll let you know. But, and this concerns Rebecca, we are DPOC. Yeah, the county. So I was thinking we should maybe buy some more polos, shirts, and hoodies to that we could sell there. So can we vote on that? Rebecca, how much would that be? Can you come up, please? Because since we'll have a table there, I think we should sell some of our nice looking polos like Steve's wearing. Will you model that for us?
I think if we order, I don't remember what the order cost was, but the resale is 35, and then the black t-shirts are 15, and then the sweatshirts are 25. So
how much we sell them for?
right, so I don't know what the cost is. Okay. I think we should just order additional polo shirts. I still have t-shirt and sweatshirt inventory. The resale value is 35, and I don't know what the cost is. I apologize, but I think we should order some more polo shirts.
So you've got plenty of hoodies? Okay.
How much are the polo shirts?
How much? That's how much they cost. I mean, that's how much we sell them for, but how much do they cost?
Should I get a matching pair of pants?
And the hoodies are
Nobody knows how
25.
much they cost. How are we gonna vote on it?
The hoodies are 25?
The hoodies are $25. Sweatshirts.
No, we're talking about how much it costs for us to order them. I guess we don't know that.
Somebody just asked how much is the price of them.
Yeah.
So we'll get back with that. Look, we'll go ahead and get that together at our next executive board. We'll go ahead and get the order by the numbers, and we'll go ahead and go from there. First thing, let me say this next. We have the food over here. We bring the food here every week. We want anybody to know you're totally welcome. The salad. We also make sure we always get salad for vegetarian people who are vegan. It's always, everybody is welcome. Next, let me say this right here. We have two special ladies that are with us tonight. That is in our membership. And I think that it's up on us to show our appreciation when people stand out, stand up and stand out. And we had this discussion at the e-board, and someone said, we was talking about Rosa Parks. And they said, well, she didn't do it alone. I said, yeah, but she started it. And that's where we went ahead. So first thing we was gonna do, I'm gonna recognize Lupe, everybody right here, for what she has done for Rancho La Paz. And I want you to know that we're gonna go ahead and come and celebrate with you to show you your appreciation. We're waiting on the date because we want her neighbors at Rancho La Paz to be involved in this. We want to share the moment with them. And so we are going to go to her park, and hopefully everybody that is here can go ahead and go with us to show our appreciation and love for Lupe Ramirez. Okay?
She told me she had two things on her bucket list: to get rent control for Rancho La Paz and to bring down Mayor Sadu.
Okay, so we are going to show our appreciation at the date. We're waiting for you, and we're going to do that. But also, we have somebody else here now that we can show our appreciation for, because the power of one. You know, the charter school was a big victory. I want everybody to know that. That charter school was a big victory because we had 3 elementary schools within 1 mile of that place. We had a junior high school and a high school within that area, taking money from our school district. So we want to go ahead and show our appreciation to Cecilia. Cecilia, will you please come on up here? So can everybody give her an applause? Because when Cecilia went ahead and started this, she had lobbyists showing up at her house as she was trying to organize the movement to stop this charter school.
There was one other important piece of business.
Vern, I'm in the middle of this. It's going to have to wait at this point. I'm not stopping this right now. I'm going to go ahead and put this on hold. No, we're going to do this. So first thing, where's Roxanne? Roxanne, can you bring those up that we have to go ahead and give to her, please? And this is part of our appreciation. We have bring the flowers. Everybody come up here, Cecilia. Come in here in front of everybody. We went and got these for you today. Look at this. Let you know. It's going to show you appreciation. And we have a cake that says, what does it say on it? But it says congratulations. And we want you to know that guess what? We're here to support you, and we love you, and we appreciate you, and that we're proud of you because you did a great job for the community. God bless you.
And that's around there. There's 2 articles came out, one in the Orange County, the Voice. I did, it was 7 pages, and I just made 2 copies. You could read it and pass it around. And the other one came out from the Democratic Party. And I will honestly say I didn't do, I mean, you know, it started as one, but it ended, it was the village. Now I understand that. And I can honestly say I was a union rep, I was a steward, and that's where I got my thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You know what? I want everybody to know this right here in this club. If we got to go ahead and say thank you to somebody, you better say it right now. Say it right now, because tomorrow is not promised to none of us. And that's the way we need to treat each other. Like tomorrow is not promised. Okay, Vern, come on.
Yeah, last thing, we elected Mike Ortega, our pre-endorsement representative. We finally have a voice. We finally figured out how to use it in the state party. We get to vote, have 1 vote in the district, Avelino's district. So this year we get a vote on whether we want to endorse Lou Correa or not endorse Lou Correa, and whether we want to endorse Avelino Valencia or not endorse Avelino Valencia, because apparently nobody's running against either of them, but we can vote up or down. So let's do this real quick, and I think Mike had to finally go home, so I'll let him know how we choose, because he has to vote the way we say. Who says yes on endorsing Lou Correa? 1, 2, 3. 3. Who says no? No endorsement. Okay, yeah, it's pretty disappointing most of the time. What about Avelino Valencia? Yes? He's done a couple good things, yeah. How about no on Avelino? Okay, and I think that's the way Mike wanted to vote anyway. Okay, Mike, did you still want to do that resolution about the carpetbagging senator? What? Yeah. Yeah, we don't have enough time. What? Oh, Jenny's got an announcement. We all have so much to say.
So, this week, Mike and I and Vern and Stephanie, our other friend back there, met with the Disneyland Forward people. And I just want to let you guys know that it is coming up for the Planning Commission on Monday for a workshop. So whoever is interested in hearing what they have to say, there will be a workshop on Monday at City Council, and I believe they start at 5 o'clock. The Planning Commission, there's nothing on the agenda yet. So I just want to let everybody know that. Yes. 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 But it is just a workshop. So, but we need to attend so we can see what they're saying, because we've heard different stories from multiple people. So, okay.
And that's it. Ronnie, did you want to say that one other thing? Okay, we're gonna celebrate now.
Guess what? We can look at this. The time is 8:42. If anybody has any objection, we can call the meeting. Wait, hold on, Vern. Yes, sir. District 3, Rubicaba, recall. Anybody want to go ahead and fill out the form? Mr. White has it right there. Any other announcements? District 3. Anybody in membership District 3? Okay, Linda. All right. Yes, Mr. Diamond. Okay. All right. We're getting ready to go ahead. 8:43 on Zoom. Right here, we're calling the meeting. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Everybody come on over, enjoy the food, the lasagna, the salad. Yes. All right. Thank you very much, those out there. God bless.